Okay, here I am ready to open up the LG Ultimate 2 for TracFone. Before I do that, I just wanted to take a quick look around the outside. Here you see, just like all TracFones and bring your own phone program, it's going to have what I call the triple feature, which means that if you buy a 60-minute card and add it to this phone, you'll get the 60 minutes tripled into 180, but then that will also be tripled into each of the buckets. So 180 minutes in the talk bucket, 180 texts in the messaging bucket, and 180 megabytes in the data bucket. Then you also see Android 4.4, which is fairly new, but as of this recording, the newest Android 5.0, which is one step up from the 4.4 here, is just starting to be pushed out. So I understand that has some pretty interesting upgrades, and I don't think that this phone will ever see that upgrade unless it's rooted possibly. You also have a 5 megapixel rear-facing camera and a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera. It's noteworthy that front-facing camera is quite a bit sharper in terms of resolution than the front-facing camera on the Alcatel Pop Icon. And I think, like the Icon, this phone is also going to have flash and autofocus on the rear camera. And then, of course, it's 3G capable and Wi-Fi enabled. Now, taking a look on the inside, there's my airtime card that's shipped with the phone. And let's see, some of the key features here. We already talked about the camera, the screen, and the Android version. This is a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processor. The processor on the Pop Icon is actually a quad-core, so that's something that I'm going to be testing out quite a bit to compare the two side by side and see if the quad-core is noticeably faster at any of the functions that I might be interested in. And over here, not too much that's really significant in my opinion. MP3 player, I'm not sure why they would even mention that. Of course, any Android phone is going to be able to play MP3s. GPS built in, 12 hours battery talk time. We'll see how long it actually lasts. And that's about it for the features listed on the box. I'm going to tear into it now and give you a sense of how it feels and how it looks. Pretty much at any time prior to about an hour ago, or even half an hour ago, I would have told you that this phone seems huge to me, because it does. However, I also just unpackaged the Alcatel Pop Icon. That screen is 5 inches, this is 4.5. So, by comparison, this phone doesn't seem quite as big as it might have prior to me holding that Pop Icon. So there you have the phone, the battery cover, the battery itself, a quick start guide from LG regarding the phone, a charger with a separate micro USB cable and the wall adapter, your TracFone quick start guide there. I'm sorry, your TracFone activation guide and your TracFone services guide. And the last thing in the package here is get to know your TracFone Android service. So it's probably some pretty basic information that you already know if you're watching this video. But if you're thinking about this for a gift for somebody, it's probably helpful for them to know that. So I'm going to power up the phone now and compare it side by side with a couple of other similarly sized phones, or some popular phones that you might be aware of, just for a size comparison. And while I get the battery in here, I just want to remind you that if you have questions about this phone and how it compares to the Alcatel One Touch Pop Icon or the new Moto E, let me know what your question is, and I'll see if I can answer it for you. Alright, I've got the battery in here. and pretty basic controls on the exterior. Just the back button, which is a touch button, and then this is actually a hardware button, the home key there, and then the menu button. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, they're not here, but looks like just from the few seconds that I was handling it, getting the battery put in, it already picked up a few smudges. On the back, it's that kind of interesting printing on there. It looks, I don't know, again, I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but it almost looks like a Tetris board, kind of. It's got some kind of blocky design patterns, and depending on how you angle the phone, different blocks among that pattern looks like they're standing out for you. So looking at the buttons here, it looks like this must be the power button on the right side there as we're facing the phone. We've got your camera up there, headset jack, volume up and down, your charging port, and microphone. Looks like that might also be the speaker there on the bottom. On the back there's a speaker, the flash, the camera, the TracFone logo there, and similar to the LG Fuel, which I reviewed very recently, it looks like the home button has that multicolor illumination. I never did quite figure out what all the colors are supposed to represent on the Fuel, so maybe if you did figure it out, it would be useful to you, but I really honestly just haven't taken the time to figure it out. So while that's loading there, I'm just going to give you a quick comparison. Well, here's the icon, the Alcatel Pop icon that I just opened. So they look pretty comparable side by side, but definitely you're obviously getting a bigger screen with the Pop icon. And here I have the iPhone 4, same screen size as the iPhone 4S. And there you can see with the screen turned on there. And the LG Fuel that I mentioned I just reviewed, which is also a TracFone handset. And you can see it's almost identical design. Is almost like the Ultimate 2 is just a scaled up version of the LG Fuel. And to be honest, if it runs like the Fuel does, I'll be really happy with the performance of the phone, because so far I've had no problems at all with the operation of the LG Fuel. Here's one more comparison that I forgot to do before with the LG Dynamic 2 on the left and the Ultimate 2 on the right. The one on the left is a 4-inch screen, I think, if I'm remembering right, and the LG Ultimate 2 is a 4.5-inch. And to me, it's really striking how much bigger the Ultimate 2 is. It doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a difference, but for some reason going from 4 to 4.5 is really making a big difference to me. And also, this is very thin. It's between the Ultimate 2 and the Pop icon. I'm not sure which is thinner, but they're both significantly thinner than the Dynamic 2, probably by like 30% or so, I would guess, and thinner than the Ultimate 2, which is here on the right. Between the two of them, I'm not sure which is thicker. It looks like the Pop icon might be just a touch thicker, but not a whole lot. So I think for now I am going to cut the video and get some hands-on time with the phone, getting it activated here, and I will have another video soon. In the meantime, if you have any questions about this phone and how it compares to the other two that I've been discussing, the Moto E or the Pop icon, go ahead and leave me a comment below this video or on my blog at prepaidphoneguy.com, and I will try to answer it for you. Thanks.